The massive crystalline ships hung in Earth's orbit like frozen teardrops against the black canvas of space. Their sudden appearance had thrown the entire planet into a state of controlled chaos, though humanity had long prepared for this moment. Admiral Daeho Kim maintained his composure as he studied the holographic display in the Global Defense Station's command center. His weathered hands rested on the smooth metal railing, knuckles white from his tight grip. 27 alien vessels had materialized just beyond the moon's orbit, their designs defying conventional physics. "Sir, we're detecting unusual energy signatures from their fleet," reported Lieutenant Cho, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "They're unlike anything in our database." Daeho nodded slowly, his mind racing through decades of military training. The aliens had bypassed all of Earth's early warning systems, appearing as if they'd stepped through a door in space itself. That alone told him their technology was centuries ahead of humanity's public capabilities. "Keep our defense grid in standby," he ordered, "but maintain the camouflage protocols. Let them think we're less advanced than we are." In Seoul, Major Sunmei Park stood before her mirror, adjusting her formal diplomatic uniform. The weight of humanity's future rested on the upcoming first contact meeting. Her communication device chimed with another update. The alien delegation had requested an immediate audience with Earth's Leadership Council. "Major Park," her eye assistant's voice filled the room. "The latest bioscan results from the alien vessels show interesting patterns. Their physiological responses suggest elevated stress levels." Sunmei paused, processing this information. "They're afraid," she murmured. "But of what?" The Global Defense Station's sensors had detected unusual fluctuations in the alien ship's power cores, patterns consistent with beings in a state of anxiety. It made no sense. Why would a civilization advanced enough to cross galaxies fear a meeting with Earth? As Sunmei's transport pod rushed her toward the United Earth Council headquarters in Geneva, she reviewed the preliminary data. The aliens called themselves the Galactic Council, a federation of species that claimed to oversee the development of younger civilizations. Their leader, who used the title High Counselor Nexus, had transmitted volumes of information about their society, but something felt off about the whole situation. Back at the defense station, Admiral Daeho received a priority message from the Deep Space Monitoring Network. The alien fleet's arrival had triggered automated alerts from humanity's hidden outposts throughout the solar system. These installations, unknown to the public and cloaked from conventional detection, had been quietly watching the stars for centuries. "Sir," Lieutenant Cho called out, "we're detecting quantum communication signals between their ships. They're using encryption we shouldn't be able to break, but we can." Daeho finished her sentence. Earth's quantum computers had already begun decoding the alien transmissions. The messages they intercepted were troubling. "Exercise extreme caution. One transmission read. Species shows unprecedented development rate. Standard containment protocols may be insufficient." Major Sunmei's transport pod arrived at the council headquarters just as another message was decoded. She received it through her neural implant as she walked through the building's grand entrance. The aliens were discussing humanity's history, particularly their rapid advancement from primitive technology to space travel. The diplomatic team gathered in the preparation room, reviewing their strategy. Sunmei noticed her colleague's nervous energy, but she felt strangely calm. The aliens' fear had given her an unexpected advantage. They weren't here as conquerors, but as concerned observers who had seen something in humanity that frightened them. "The Galactic Council delegation will dock in 20 minutes, announced the building's eye. "Their ship is approaching the designated landing zone." Through the vast windows, Sunmei watched as a smaller crystalline vessel descended from the clouds. Its surface rippled like liquid glass, reflecting the afternoon sun in mesmerizing patterns. As beautiful as it was, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to uncover something massive about humanity's place in the galaxy. Admiral Daeho's voice came through her secure channel. "Major, we've decoded more of their internal communications. Whatever you do, don't let them know we can read their transmissions. They're here to assess whether we need to be contained." Sun's expression remained neutral, but her mind raced. The pieces were falling into place. The aliens' anxiety, their advanced technology, their careful approach. They saw humanity as a threat, something to be controlled or suppressed. As the alien ship touched down on the landing pad, its crystal surface flowing like water, Sunma straightened her uniform and prepared to meet the delegation. Behind her practiced diplomatic smile, she knew this meeting would change the course of human history. Not because aliens had finally arrived, but because humanity was about to reveal just how much they had underestimated Earth. The massive doors of the alien vessel began to open, releasing a soft blue light and a mist that sparkled like diamonds. High Counselor Nexus emerged, their crystalline form towering over the human delegation. What they didn't know was that humanity had prepared for this moment for centuries, hiding their true capabilities behind a carefully constructed facade of normal technological progression. The game was about to begin, and Earth held all the cards, even if their visitors didn't know it yet. The grand hall of the Seoul International Conference Center buzzed with tension as Dr. Ji-won Lee prepared her presentation. The massive screens behind her displayed a timeline of human history, starting with the first stone tools. The crystalline forms of the council representatives shifted in their specially designed seats, their translucent bodies catching the light in strange ways. Ji-won took a deep breath and began the presentation she had prepared all night. "We begin with humanity's earliest tools," she said, gesturing to images of carefully shaped stones. These date back approximately 2 million years. The alien delegates leaned forward, their crystalline structures vibrating slightly. A sign of interest, the xenobiologists had told her. But as she moved through the timeline, showing the rapid progression from stone tools to bronze working, their vibrations changed frequency. Something about the speed of human development seemed to disturb them. Ambassador Kita Park stood at the back of the room, his keen eyes noting every reaction from their extraterrestrial guests. He had spent years studying diplomatic relations, but nothing had prepared him for reading the body language of crystalline beings. Still, he could sense their growing unease. Within just a few thousand years, Ji-won continued, humans progressed from basic agriculture to the first cities. The screens showed the rise and fall of ancient civilizations, each building upon the knowledge of the last. The council members' appendages began to tremble more noticeably. When she reached the Industrial Revolution, showing humanity's leap from horse-drawn carriages to steam engines in mere decades, one of the council members actually rose from their seat. High Counselor Nexus made a quick gesture, and the member sat down again, but the tension in the room had become palpable. During a brief recess, Kita found himself alone with Astra, one of the younger council members. The alien's crystalline form seemed less rigid than the others, with swirling patterns that suggested youth or inexperience. "Your species moves so quickly," Astra said, their voice creating harmonic resonances in the air. "We have been watching since your Bronze Age, you know. We thought you would take the normal time to develop. 50,000 years, perhaps, like we did. But you." The alien caught themselves, their form clouding briefly in what Kita interpreted as embarrassment. But the revelation had been made. They had been watching Earth for millennia. Ji-won's presentation continued after the break, moving into the digital age. She showed how humans had gone from basic computers that filled entire rooms to powerful quantum processors in less than a century. The council members' trembling had become so pronounced that their crystalline bodies created a subtle ringing sound. "And here," she said, "reaching the modern era, we see humanity's first steps into space." The screens showed rockets, space stations, and the early lunar colonies. Each achievement was marked with a date, emphasizing the incredibly short time spans between breakthroughs. Kita watched as High Counselor Nexus exchanged rapid pulses of light with their advisors, their version of whispered conversations. He didn't need to understand their language to know they were disturbed by what they were seeing. When Ji-won reached the section on military history, showing how warfare had driven innovation, The council members' reactions became even more pronounced. Images of humanity's rapid advancement in weapons technology, from spears to nuclear weapons, caused their crystalline forms to resonate with what could only be described as fear. Our ability to adapt and improve our technology has always been one of humanity's greatest strengths, Jai-1 explained, her voice steady despite the obvious distress of her audience. What might take other species generations, we often achieve within a single lifetime. Kita noticed one of the council members frantically accessing what appeared to be a data terminal, comparing Earth's timeline with something in their records. The aliens' agitation was clear in the way their crystalline surface rippled and fractured light. As the presentation concluded with humanity's current public achievements, carefully omitting their more advanced hidden capabilities, the room fell into a heavy silence. The council members huddled together, their bodies creating a symphony of light and sound as they communicated among themselves. Kita approached Astra again, hoping to learn more. The young alien seemed more willing to talk than their peers. "Your reaction suggests this rate of development is unusual," he said carefully. Astra's form clouded again. We have never seen anything like it. Most species take millions of years to achieve what you have done in mere thousands. They stopped, their crystalline surface becoming opaque, their version of clamming up. Jai-1 packed up her presentation materials, pretending not to notice how the council members had drawn away from the human delegates. Their fear was becoming more evident with each passing moment, and both she and Kita knew they had to report this reaction to their superiors. What the aliens didn't realize was that humanity was watching their every reaction, analyzing their responses, and coming to their own conclusions about why the Galactic Council was really here. The trembling of their crystalline forms told a story they didn't intend to reveal. A story of fear, of concern, and of plans that humanity was already preparing to counter. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in a quantum-shielded room that didn't officially exist, Director Hyun Woo-song stared at the decoded alien transmissions scrolling across his holographic display. His hands trembled slightly as he processed the implications of what he was reading. "Run the decryption again," he ordered the AI system. "I want to be absolutely certain." The artificial intelligence complied, its quantum processors breaking through the alien encryption once more. The results were identical and terrifying. The Galactic Council's private communications revealed a truth they had been careful to hide from humanity. "Get me a secure line to Mount Pektu," Han Mu commanded. "Dr. Choi needs to see this immediately." Miles away, in a bunker carved into Mount Pektu, Dr. Hejun Choi was already piecing together his own disturbing discoveries. His team had been analyzing the Council's historical database, which they'd quietly accessed through a backdoor in the aliens' communication systems. The encrypted transmission from Director Song only confirmed his worst fears. "Sir," he said as soon as the quantum-secured line connected, "I assume you found it too." "Yes," Hyun Woo replied, his voice grim. "The Council isn't here for diplomatic relations. They're here to assess whether we need to be contained." Hejun pulled up his findings on a massive display screen. Their entire civilization evolved at what we consider a snail's pace. It took them 500,000 years to discover electricity, another 100,000 to achieve powered flight. The data painted a picture of a galactic community that developed so slowly it was almost incomprehensible to human minds. Species that took millions of years to achieve what humanity had done in mere millennia. The council members weren't just cautious, they were terrified of rapid change. "They've done this before," Hyun Woo said, transmitting a newly decoded file. "Look at their containment protocols." Hejun's eyes widened as he read the document. The council had a long history of identifying what they called dangerous acceleration events, species that developed too quickly for their comfort. Their solution was chilling in its simplicity. "Technological stasis fields," Hejun muttered. "They literally freeze a species' development, claiming it's for their own protection." The emergency council was hastily convened in the bunker's main chamber. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials gathered around a circular table, their faces illuminated by the soft blue light of holographic displays. Hajum stood to present his findings, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The Galactic Council represents over 10,000 species, he began. All of them evolved and developed at what we would consider an incredibly slow rate. Their normal technological progression spans millions of years. He displayed a comparison chart showing the development timelines of various species. Earth's line shot up like a rocket, while others crawled across millions of years in gentle slopes. They believe rapid technological advancement leads to societal instability and eventual self-destruction, he continued. When they encounter a species developing too quickly, they intervene. Director Song took over, revealing the intercepted communications. They've placed at least 7 other civilizations in stasis fields, creating artificial barriers to technological progress. They call it protective custody, but it's really imprisonment on a species-wide scale. The room erupted in contained chaos as military leaders demanded immediate action. Admiral Kim, connected via quantum link from the defense station, pointed out that the alien fleet's position suggested they were preparing for more than just diplomatic meetings. "There's more," Hajum said, his voice cutting through the commotion. The Council's own records show they've never encountered a species that developed as quickly as humans. We've achieved in thousands of years what took them millions. They're not just concerned, they're terrified. The implications settled over the room like a heavy blanket. Humanity's greatest strength, their ability to adapt, innovate, and advance at incredible speeds, was exactly what made them a threat in the Council's eyes. "They don't understand us," Hyunwoo added. "Their civilization values stability above all else. The pace of human advancement represents chaos to them. They see us as a danger to the galactic order." Dr. Choi pulled up one final piece of data, a classified Council assessment of Earth. "They're not just here to contain us," he said quietly. "They're here because they think they have to be. To them, we're a threat to their entire way of life." The room fell silent as the true nature of their situation became clear. The Galactic Council hadn't come to welcome humanity to a larger community. They had come to stop what they saw as a dangerous anomaly. A species advancing so rapidly it defied their understanding of natural development. What they didn't know was that humanity had already surpassed the technological level they could detect. Earth's hidden capabilities went far beyond what they had shown their visitors. The question now was not whether they could resist containment, but how to demonstrate their strength without triggering an immediate conflict. The fate of human civilization hung in the balance, and the clock was ticking. General Min Ji-yoon paced the length of Earth's hidden command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. The quantum-shielded facility, known only to a select few, housed humanity's true military nerve center. Dozens of holographic screens filled the air around her, each showing different aspects of the Council fleet's positions and activities. "Status report on global defense grid activation," she commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of the situation. Colonel Ta Sum Kang's face appeared on one of the screens, his cybersecurity team's findings scrolling beside his image. "The Council is preparing something big, General. We've intercepted plans for a containment field that would encompass the entire solar system." Minji stopped pacing and studied the tactical display. The alien ships had subtly shifted their positions over the past 12 hours, forming a pattern that only became clear when viewed from above the solar system's orbital plane. "They think they're being clever," she said, a small smile playing at her lips. "They have no idea what we're capable of, do they?" "No, ma'am," Tai-sung replied. "Their scans can't penetrate our quantum camouflage. They're still seeing what we want them to see, a relatively primitive species just beginning to explore space." The general activated a secure channel to all of Earth's hidden military installations, bases inside hollow asteroids, underwater cities, and facilities phased slightly out of normal spacetime. All responded to her call. Humanity had prepared for this moment for generations, developing technologies in secret, while maintaining a careful facade of normal progression. Begin power-up sequences for all quantum phase shields, she ordered. But keep them dormant until my signal. Colonel Kang, continue monitoring their communications. I want to know the moment they make their move. In his cybersecurity hub, Tai Sung watched as his team decoded more council transmissions. The aliens were discussing Earth's population centers, planning how to minimize resistance when they activated their containment field. Their confidence would have been amusing if it wasn't so dangerous. General, he called suddenly, they're planning to act within the next 6 hours. Their containment field requires specific astronomical alignments to work efficiently. Min-ji nodded, her decision already made. Send the order to all commands. Operation Shadow Drop is now active. It's time to show them why containing humanity would be their biggest mistake. Across the solar system, hidden human facilities began powering up systems that would shatter the Council's understanding of technological development. Dark matter drives, capable of moving entire planets through spacetime, hummed to life. Consciousness transfer arrays, allowing human minds to inhabit multiple bodies simultaneously, activated their quantum matrices. Colonel, prepare the demonstration package, Min-ji ordered. Let's give them a small taste of what they're dealing with. Tai Sung's team had prepared a precise series of revelations designed to show the Council exactly how far humanity had advanced without revealing all their capabilities. It was a delicate balance. They needed to show enough strength to deter the containment attempt without triggering an immediate hostile response. Package ready, General, he confirmed. On your command, we can drop our camouflage in stages, revealing our defensive capabilities one layer at a time. Min-ji studied the tactical displays one final time. The Council ships had almost completed their containment formation. They still thought they were dealing with a primitive species that had barely mastered spaceflight. That illusion was about to shatter. All commands, this is General Yoon. She broadcast to Earth's hidden forces. Prepare for synchronized revelation of Phase 1 capabilities. Remember, we're not trying to start a war. We're preventing one. The response came back from installations throughout the solar system. Humanity's hidden forces were ready. They had stationed phase-shifted battleships near every Council vessel, invisible and undetectable to alien sensors. Quantum weapon platforms waited in dimensional pockets, ready to emerge at a moment's notice. Colonel Kang, send them the message, Min-ji ordered. Let's see how they react to discovering they're not the most advanced civilization in this meeting. Tai Sung's fingers flew across his quantum interface, preparing to reveal just enough of humanity's true capabilities to make the Council reconsider their containment plans. The message would be simple but clear. Any attempt to contain Earth would be met with technological powers the Council didn't even know were possible. As the moment of revelation approached, Min-ji allowed herself a small smile. The Council had come to contain what they saw as a dangerous, rapidly evolving species. They were about to learn that humanity had evolved far beyond their worst fears, and that attempting to contain Earth would be like trying to hold back an ocean with a paper cup. All forces, stand by, she commanded. Operation Shadow Drop commences in 3, 2, 1. The universe was about to change, and humanity would be the ones changing it. Not through violence or conquest, but by simply revealing that they had already surpassed the very beings who sought to contain them. The time had come to show the Galactic Council why Earth could never be contained. Chief Engineer Do-hyun Ryu stood at his command console in the Orbital Defense Command, his fingers hovering over the holographic controls. He took a deep breath, knowing that what he was about to do would change the galaxy forever. All systems are synchronized, he announced to the command center, beginning planetary defense grid revelation sequence. With precise movements, he initiated the deactivation of the quantum camouflage that had hidden Earth's true defenses for decades. In orbit, thousands of advanced platforms began to shimmer into existence, their stealth fields dissolving like morning mist. The Council delegation, watching from their observation deck in the Geneva facility, fell silent as their sensors detected the sudden appearance of technology far beyond their understanding. Where moments ago they had seen only a handful of primitive satellites, now a vast network of defensive platforms circled the Earth. Continuing with Phase 2, Du-hyun declared. His hands danced across the controls, sending signals to every major city on Earth. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The holographic camouflage that had hidden humanity's true advancement began to fade away. The council representatives watched in horror as seemingly normal urban centers transformed before their eyes. Towering spires of impossible materials reached into the sky, quantum computing cores pulsed with visible energy, and anti-gravity vehicles emerged from hidden bays. Dr. Soo-jin Nam took this moment to begin her demonstration in the Dimensional Engineering Lab. She activated the massive quantum gateway, its crystalline structure humming with power that made the council members' own forms vibrate in resonance. What you're about to see, she explained calmly, is just one of our parallel reality colonies. The gateway sparked to life, creating a window into another dimension where humanity had established a thriving civilization. The council representatives' crystalline bodies trembled as they witnessed humans walking through portals between realities as casually as stepping through a doorway. Their worst fears about humanity's advancement were being confirmed and exceeded. Do-hyun received the signal that Soo-jin's demonstration was underway. He moved to the next phase, revealing the true nature of Earth's defensive capabilities. Quantum weapon platforms shifted into normal space, their power signatures dwarfing anything the Council had in their fleet. Displaying our Jupiter installation, he announced. The largest of Sol's gas giants shimmered, revealing a massive human complex built into its atmosphere. Mining facilities that harvested antimatter from the planet's core became visible, along with shipyards that could construct vessels larger than the Council's entire fleet. In the Geneva facility, Soo-jin continued her presentation. We've established colonies in 17 parallel dimensions, she stated matter-of-factly, each with its own unique properties and resources. She gestured to another gateway, showing a world where humans had adapted to live in environments the Council had deemed impossible. The alien delegates' horror grew as they realized the full implications. Humanity hadn't just advanced beyond their expectations. They had broken through barriers the Council had thought impossible to breach. Do-hyun monitored the Council ships' reactions through quantum sensors. Their power cores were fluctuating wildly, indicating extreme distress among their crews. He allowed himself a small smile as he initiated the final phase of the demonstration. Revealing Sol System Defense Network, he commanded. Throughout the solar system, cloaked installations became visible. Every planet, moon, and major asteroid showed signs of human presence and technological mastery. Soo-jin noted the Council members' growing panic with clinical detachment. She opened another gateway, this one showing humans who had merged their consciousness with quantum computers, transcending physical form entirely. The aliens' crystalline bodies resonated with frequencies that their xenobiologists identified as extreme fear. We've achieved what you would call post-physical evolution, she explained, gesturing to the humans moving freely between organic and digital forms. But we chose to maintain our physical presence to better understand the universe in all its forms. Do-hyun's sensors detected emergency signals being sent from the Council fleet. They were calling for reinforcements, not realizing that humanity had been monitoring and decoding their quantum communications since their arrival. Should we show them the temporal facilities? He asked over the secure channel. Not yet, came the response from command. They're already at their breaking point. Let's not push them into doing something rash. The demonstration had achieved its purpose. The Council now understood that their containment plans weren't just futile, they were laughably inadequate. Humanity had surpassed their technological level so completely that any attempt at constraint would be like trying to catch starlight with a net. As the Council representatives huddled together, their crystalline forms vibrating with terror, both Do-hyun and Soo-jin knew that the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had revealed enough of their advancement to prevent any thought of containment, while still keeping their most advanced technologies hidden. The message was clear. Earth wasn't just unable to be contained. It had already expanded far beyond any possibility of control. The only question now was how the Council would respond to this new reality. The United Nations chamber had never felt more charged with tension. Commander Jin-Ho Kwon stood at the podium, his military uniform pristine, his expression stern but composed. Before him, the Council representatives huddled in their specially designed seats, their crystalline forms still trembling from the demonstrations they had witnessed. Honored members of the Galactic Council, Jin-Ho began, his voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. You came to Earth under the guise of diplomatic contact, but we know your true purpose. He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. The chamber's quantum sensors detected spikes of anxiety from the alien delegates. High Counselor Nexus's crystalline form clouded with what humans had learned to recognize as fear. We know about the 7 civilizations you've placed in stasis, Jin-Ho continued. We know about your policy of containment. We know everything. He activated a holographic display, showing detailed records of the Council's previous interventions. Captain Yoon, I'm stepped forward, her presence commanding attention as she took position beside the commander. With a gesture, she brought up another holographic display, this one showing a map of the local galaxy cluster. What you fail to understand, she said, her voice clear and confident, is that humanity has already spread far beyond your reach. The map expanded, revealing pulsing points of light representing human outposts in distant galaxies. Jin-Ho watched the Council members' reactions carefully as Yoon-hee began cycling through evidence of human expansion. Through quantum tunneling technology, we established our first extragalactic colony 50 years ago. We now maintain outposts in 12 galaxies. The aliens' crystalline forms began resonating with frequencies that indicated extreme distress. High Counselor Nexus attempted to speak, but Jin-Ho raised his hand for silence. We give you this one warning, he declared, his voice growing harder. Flee. Return to your worlds. Tell your council that Earth and humanity are not to be interfered with. Yoon-hee activated another display, showing human ships emerging from quantum tunnels in various galaxies. Your containment strategy, she stated, was obsolete before your ships ever entered our solar system. The evidence was undeniable. Through quantum tunneling, humanity had bypassed the traditional barriers of space travel. While the Council had been slowly spreading through conventional space, humans had found ways to step between the stars as easily as walking through a door. We have watched you watching us, Jin-Ho continued. We know you've observed Earth since our Bronze Age. What you failed to realize is that we began observing you the moment your first probe entered our solar system. The Council members shifted uncomfortably as Yoon-hee displayed intercepted transmissions from their own monitoring stations. Centuries of their surveillance had been compromised, their every move tracked and analyzed by the very species they thought they were secretly studying. Your civilization values stability, Jin-Ho acknowledged. You fear rapid change. We understand this, but understand in return, humanity's drive to advance, to explore, to push boundaries is not a flaw to be contained. It is our greatest strength. Yoon-hee brought up images of human achievements across multiple galaxies. We have contacted species you never knew existed, she revealed. We have learned and grown in ways your civilization cannot comprehend. The Council representatives huddled closer together, their crystalline forms creating harmonic resonances of distress. They had come to contain what they thought was a dangerous but limited species. Instead, they found themselves facing a civilization that had already surpassed them in ways they hadn't imagined possible. This is not a threat, Jin-Ho clarified, his voice softening slightly. This is a reality you must accept. Humanity cannot, and will not be contained. We have spread too far, advanced too quickly. Your traditional methods of control are useless against us. Yoon-hee's final display showed the true extent of human expansion. Colonies in parallel dimensions, outposts in distant galaxies, and technological achievements that the Council had deemed impossible. You have a choice, Jin-Ho concluded. Accept that humanity has moved beyond your authority, or face the consequences of attempting to contain the uncontainable. We do not seek conflict, but we will not allow any force to restrict our development or expansion." The chamber fell silent as his words echoed through the vast space. The council members' crystalline forms had stopped trembling, frozen in what seemed to be shock or terror. "You have one planetary rotation to depart our solar system," Yoon-hee added, her tone professional but firm. "We suggest you use this time wisely." The message had been delivered. Humanity had revealed enough of their capabilities to make their point clear, while still keeping their most advanced technologies hidden. The Council now faced a choice that wasn't really a choice at all: accept humanity's freedom to develop as they wished, or risk confrontation with a civilization that had already surpassed them in every meaningful way. The warning was simple: flee. The implications were vast. Humanity had outgrown any possibility of containment long before the Council had even considered it necessary. Professor Jamin-O watched from the Lunar Observatory as the Council fleet engaged their hyperspace drives. The crystalline ships vanished one by one, leaving behind only ripples in space-time and a stream of panicked transmissions echoing across galactic frequencies. "They're broadcasting warnings about Earth," his AI assistant reported, decoding the quantum signals in real time, advising all Council worlds to avoid contact with the dangerous, uncontainable species they encountered. Jae-min smiled as he documented their retreat. His historical archive would record this moment as the turning point, when humanity stepped out of the shadows and into its role as a guardian of galactic freedom. On the bridge of the Starship Liberty, Admiral Yeon-jae reviewed the coordinates of the 7 civilizations the Council had placed in stasis. Her fleet, hidden until now, prepared for their first rescue mission. "Set course for the Centauri containment zone," she commanded. "It's time to free our first neighbors from their prison." The Liberty's quantum drives hummed to life, tearing a hole through space-time. Unlike the Council's crude hyperspace technology, human ships could traverse galaxies in moments, stepping through the fabric of reality itself. "Admiral," her communications officer called out, "we're receiving signals from other suppressed species. Word of our stand against the Council is spreading." Across the galaxy, civilizations that had lived in fear of Council containment began reaching out. Some had hidden their true technological progress, just as humanity had. Others had been partially contained but maintained secret resistance movements. Professor O's historical documentation expanded rapidly as reports flooded in from human outposts in various galaxies. The Council's retreat had sparked a revolution in galactic society. Species that had been forced to develop at an artificially slow pace began breaking free of their constraints. "We're establishing the Freedom Coalition," Admiral Lee announced to her fleet. "Earth will serve as a protector, ensuring that every species has the right to develop at their natural pace, whether that's faster or slower than others." The first rescue mission proved remarkably simple. The Liberty's advanced technology easily disabled the Council's stasis fields, freeing a civilization that had been trapped in technological limbo for thousands of years. "Your containment is over," Yeon-ji declared to the grateful species. "Earth stands ready to help you reclaim your right to progress." Back on Earth, Jamin coordinated with xenoanthropologists to document the unique development patterns of each freed civilization. Some, like humanity, showed signs of rapid advancement. Others preferred a more measured pace. The Freedom Coalition would protect both. "We're not here to force anyone to advance quickly," he explained to a gathering of representatives from newly freed worlds. "We're here to ensure every species can develop according to their own nature." Admiral Lee's fleet continued its mission, dismantling containment fields throughout the galaxy. With each liberation, the coalition grew stronger. Species that had been isolated from each other for millennia began sharing knowledge and culture. "The Council's greatest fear has become their worst nightmare," Jamin noted in his historical record. By attempting to contain humanity, they unleashed a force that would forever end their policy of suppression. Humanity's quantum tunneling technology allowed them to reach even the most distant containment zones. The Council's influence crumbled as more civilizations joined the coalition, each bringing their own unique perspectives and capabilities. "We're establishing outposts in every galaxy where the Council operated," Admiral Lee reported. "Any species that faces the threat of containment will find Earth ready to defend their freedom." The transformation was complete. Earth had evolved from a planet the Council sought to contain into the guardian of galactic liberty. Their advanced technology, once hidden, now served as a shield for countless civilizations. Professor O's final entry in the historical record summed up the dramatic shift. The Council came to Earth believing they needed to contain a dangerous species. Instead, they awakened a protector, one that would ensure no civilization would ever face containment again. As the Freedom Coalition grew, the Council's warnings about Earth took on a different meaning. They had called humanity dangerous, not understanding that the real danger lay in attempting to suppress the natural development of any species. The age of containment was over. A new era had begun, with Earth standing as a beacon of freedom for all civilizations to develop as they were meant to, at their own pace, in their own way, without fear of suppression or control. And the Council learned, too late, that some warnings are better heeded than tested. For in seeking to contain humanity, they had instead unleashed a force for freedom that would reshape the galaxy forever.